welcome everybody back to another episode of the South Star Classroom. Am I frozen? I don't know why I'm frozen right now.
You are frozen.
It's acting weird, but it's
Let
okay.
it go, baby.
It's all good. I'm just starting us off because Miss Juve she's in transit, but this is her episode, and she is definitely leading it, and it would make sense why she's leading it when y'all see what the topics are. But with that being said, and we're gonna get in and out of these intros today. How people doing, man? Omar, let's start with you, David. You on deck while I figure this out.
Man, I'm gonna keep it short but sweet. Back in El Paso after long jaunts abroad, some work, some excellent personal stuff happening, man. I got to ski something called the Valle Blanche.
Nice.
Unbelievable. Swiss Alps and everything. And some work out there too, which was kind of cool. But other than that, dude, back in action here in El Paso, where it's not 10 degrees. So my man, Doc, I love you, man. I'm sending you big hugs, bro.
Oh, well, actually, no, today it's like 50 degrees today, man.
Shit,
it's
all right.
Right
Yeah, I met some cat from Toledo, and he was like, it's been 10.
Yeah, it has
the last 2 weeks. So like,
it has been. It's going back and forth. Back and forth. Y'all keep going. I'm gonna wipe off this other camera because apparently I don't use it a lot. It's just a cloud of stuff. So how you doing, David?
All right. Doing well. Good to be back, and excited about today's topic. Enjoyed the festivities around the Super Bowl. Primarily around the halftime show, which at least in our household, we're kind of jumping and screaming, both from a cultural space. Love the ability of Bad Bunny to tell a story through music and performance, definitely through a social justice lens, and also through a lens of like understanding the roots of reggaeton and where they came from. It's a very interesting story. Long story short, obviously the roots are in reggae music, which go back to Jamaica. There's a whole history there, but really got sparked up in the 1980s with Jamaican laborers that went to Panama that were working on the canal at the time. And so the infusion of those two cultures kind of created this new blend of music, which we call reggaeton.
Man. I'm a big reggaeton fan. I like reggaeton.
That's cool. I did not know that. It sounds slightly similar, not with the like Panamanian Jamaican influences, but like flamenco in southern Spain was born out of factory work. Out of like, they didn't have instruments. So the fact that it was a lot of slapping and a lot of singing, and then that was born from the Moors, right? Like the Arabic influence coming in the southern part of Spain, and the chanting is where a lot of the vocals came from. And then someone's like, well, what's portable? A guitar, bring that in. Thus flamenco.
There you go.
Yeah, dude, I didn't know that there was
music history, study history through
That's
music.
Cool.
Boom. Love it.
That's what's up.
Shit, I mean that's apropos to today's topic though, David.
I know.
Okay.
We can talk. I mean, I know I said we trying to get in and out of stuff a little quicker. I didn't say for this next episode. This is Juve's time, and we want Juve to get home safely. So we got time. We can talk about that. I didn't watch. I didn't watch the Super Bowl live. One, I just didn't care about the two teams, and I had work to do. But I watched them both. I watched. I'm happy for Bad Bunny, man. I don't need to understand everything. Like I get it. Like I'm black. I'm always gonna root for people in the music I like, but I know how to share, man. Like other people can have a turn. This is America. It's a lot of different types of people, and I think it's dope. Like I hope people don't lose their mind. Next year should probably be, if we're being honest, should probably be K-pop. Should probably be you know what I'm saying? Like it's a big, vast country. So I think he did a great job from what I saw. It was a lot of people that were happy and that enjoyed it. I went over and saw the shit show. That was the other one. And I'm like, even in that, I'm just like, hey man, if this is what y'all want to do, hey man, all right, bro. Like, this is not as good as a concert, but hey man, live your life. So I'm glad that I say all that to say, David, I'm glad you and your boy and your family you know, because I know what it feels like to have that Super Bowl thing jump up when it was Dr. Dre, Eminem, 50. That was mine. Where and I'm good. It's like the Cubs don't have to win another World Series because I watched them win in my lifetime. Congratulations to Bad Bunny.
Back to the Future Part 2, baby. It finally happened. The Cubbies finally won. You know, Doc, you know what I love about this conversation and about every conversation? Ain't no one talking about the Patriots or the Seahawks. Nobody cared. Like, nobody talking about that, man.
Nobody had those two teams, and I think everybody knew that if you're a football fan, you knew the Patriots was outmatched. Yeah. Like they had the weakest schedule in 20-something years.
I mean,
listen,
man.
Shout out to the Patriots. Y'all should be very excited. You have a great coach. You have a great quarterback, and to get there so fast after Belichick and Brady.
Yep.
Hey, man, God bless. And same to Seattle to get there so fast after Pete Carroll.
I was impressed with Seattle.
Hey, man, they look good. So anyway, we all jumped in on your thing, David, but I just wanted to.
It's all good.
Yeah.
I think the Queen's in town. Queen.
I know. I was like,
Queen Jubilee.
Look, StreamYard freezing all the black people.
Jubilee.
You are muted, Jubilee. We know you said something brilliant, though. Yep.
I was saying, oh my God, hold on. Hi, family. How are you?
How are you?
Tired and flustered, but I'm all right. Thank you for holding it down. I was like speeding down. Now, in a couple weeks, I might get tickets in the mail, but we'll just deal with that when the time comes because that's how that's going to go. Happy Tuesday. I want to weigh in on this, on the Super Bowl, because I want to talk about how racist America is, and we know it. But when these moments come, I go to the white evangelica chats and comments on social media, and it just never ceases to amaze me when they go, first, you're un-American because, I don't know, because you're not white. Then they created some other, oh my God, you're going to speak Spanish and you're going to do that for 30 minutes. Oh my God, even though I was on a cruise ship dancing to and living la vida loca, now I am tortured. I am a tortured soul because I have to listen to Bad Bunny sing Spanish on an American stage, and he needs to go back to his country. Go back to his country, the United States of America, and he needs to speak our language. And it's just, then they go to church on Sunday. I've been writing about this, by the way. Go to church on Sunday and sing, our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven. Some power and love. Our God is an awesome God. And it just makes me want to throw up. And not the hymn part, because I love Jesus, but the hypocrisy just never ceases to amaze me. Congrats to Bad Bunny. People started rating it on a scale of 1 to 10. It's like, do we care? It was for the culture. It was for his culture.
Every year, though, we rate every single.
I get it, but we
argue and fight about every year. It's a fight about who does the Super Bowl.
I get it. I don't care. Go ahead and rate it, but just don't try to diminish like what just happened here. Don't let the ratings steal the moment. Like, whatever. You thought it was a 2 out of 10, but do you understand the symbolism? Like, do you understand he had hundreds of people dressed in grass, that he recreated a bodega and like some of the critical cultural pieces in their culture? Like, it was for the culture, just like Kendrick Lamar was for the culture last year. Who gives a shit? If you didn't like it, you didn't like it, you rated it a 1 out of 10. Do you understand what happened here? So anyway,
I agree with you. I just don't want, if somebody didn't enjoy it watching the show, I don't want to say they're automatically racist because they didn't enjoy it. If you can't speak Spanish, I'm just saying I'm there, because there's a ton of people, even in my family, they just didn't watch that part because they couldn't follow it. The same way when Kendrick is rapping and people are like, I don't understand what he's saying. I don't think you're racist. I just think that you're not a rap fan. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't know it, you just don't know it.
If you don't know it, you don't know it. But you should probably make that distinction and not say things like he's not American and he needs to
agree with
go
that.
back to his country, and that the reason that you are upset with him and upset with the performance and not supporting the performances because it's not in English. When there's shit that's written in English that you still don't understand. So like, stop. There are plenty of people. I'm not like a Bad Bunny fan.
I'm not a fan at all. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for him.
I don't know his music like that. I had this TV turned up because it's like, I get it. This is a moment, you know? So I'm not mad if you didn't enjoy it because you just enjoy it. You don't think his music's good, whatever. But all I'm saying is all the different reasons that people gave when I'm going through these chats and seeing the different, you know, people comment, a lot of times they just need something to hinge their prejudice on, and they try to connect it to something else, but it's like, no, it's just your prejudice, your racism, or your stereotypes at work, and your inflexibility and your ethnocentrism that's at work. And it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that you don't know what he's saying. Because if it was in another country, another time and place, you probably would have been way more accepting. That's my thought. Maybe it's not my
fault. Listen to me right now. Ain't no one talking shit about that Bjorn girl when she came out. I couldn't understand a damn word she was saying either, but because she was singing in Icelandic English or whatever the shit, everyone's cool with that.
Look, there are a ton of
racist with Bjorn and shit. I couldn't understand a word she was saying. I didn't care.
There are a ton of racist people, and there are a ton of racist people that did that other thing and wanted to do it. But everybody that didn't appreciate or didn't like the show isn't racist. That was the larger point. Like Tyrone is in here saying like, yo, I would have appreciated a translator. I'm not mad at that. Like, we do it for deaf people. We do it for those things. My thing is
subtitles on your TV that come in English.
They come up in Spanish. They don't come up in English. But my thing is this: is like, I would say I am happy though. I'm happy for the people that got to have that moment. Like, I think it's really dope that David and his family got to have it the same way. You know, how people got to experience Prince and Purple Rain, and a lot of people hated Prince being there, but a lot of people, it became one of the greatest ones. So, and again, next year, I don't want to see K-pop next year, but I'm like, if we're looking at big, huge influences in the country, Bad Bunny is the biggest act in the world right now.
Yes, he is.
And I hate K-pop. I think K-pop steals from Black people fucking constantly. I think that when you ask me about K-pop, there's
I think everyone steals from Black people constantly.
I saw a multi-ethnic group in copying Koreans, copying Black people. Like, it's wild to me. I'm not a K-pop fan, but I guess what I was saying, which I agree with all the sentiment. I just didn't want, like, if some people were like, I wasn't really feeling it, because I know people that was just not feeling it. They just like, I don't know what this is. I can't really. But they're not racist. Like, I don't think that's racist to just. I don't understand.
I wouldn't call them racist. No, not my point at all.
Oh,
but if you said it was un-American because he's speaking Spanish, and you told him to go back to his country, which happens to be the United States of America, I will call you racist. That's what I'm saying. God bless.
Yeah, just a whole lot of ignorance around that. Even the English part, you know, they were talking about it, and they're like, you know, the United States of America does not have an official language. English is not the official language of the USA.
I started with English and Spanish. I've seen things say it was English and Spanish, and then I think Pierce pointed out it was none, right? It was Pierce Morgan.
No, man. And I will say this, like, A, ain't no official language. B, like, let us not forget, and this is the shit that, like, always bothers me about people not studying history. And it's like, why is history so important? It's like, look, man, you had 13 colonies. 13. All right. The Spanish, as in the language Spanish, California, Montana, Utah, Oregon, Washington, Arizona, Colorado. Like, where do you think those names came from? Half of this entire geography spoke Spanish long before you cats even got here, man. And just because it was the 13 colonies that decided to, like, I don't know, commit fucking genocide and kill everyone and then make everybody speak English, that's not a good reason to celebrate the fact that everything should be in English when half the country spoke in Spanish. Eat my ass.
And there were you know, thousands of indigenous tribes even before people spoke Spanish here, right?
Yes. Who were killed by the Spanish?
We left out the French.
English.
There's a whole thing with the French in Louisiana and
there's this thing that's it's beyond a pet peeve now, because I think it bleeds into, like, it just shows people's like ignorance around, what they understand to be the history of like, North America, Central America, and South America.
Yeah, you guys know
when they use the term,
shit.
they're like, this is very un-American. They use the term American, which, like, if you are from Cape Horn, or if you are from
still American,
the Arctic Circle, you're an American, right? That's all America. But we here in the United States somehow we have taken ownership to say, like, we are Americans. We're not Americans. We are citizens or people living within the United States of America.
Right.
A Mexican is as much as an American as a white American is.
Absolutely.
It's just a reality, So language is very powerful, and they try and do these little mind tricks on you to think that, like, American means you're from the USA, and while people from the USA are Americans, not all people from the Americans are from the USA. Right.
Absolutely.
So it's
absolutely.
Yeah, man.
tricks, man.
The Chileans consider
Canadians
themselves
are not
Americans.
From United States. Canadians are North American. Chileans are American. They are North American. You know what I'm saying? Like they're
Americans.
They call themselves Americans. By the way.
There's a huge. It's 3 continents. It's actually Central America. Is that still a continent? Stuff I don't think it, but.
No,
South America,
it's North America, which contains Central America and South America.
I just didn't know if we had it or if the South had it.
Yeah, for our audience, and they're wondering, like, where the hell's all this come from? Like, here's the quick history lesson, all right? Civilization started in the Middle East, born out of Africa. So all people came from Africa up into the Middle East. The world was that part. Then something happened where migration happened over here. Granted, they held a really great secret that people were over here, and then Columbus discovered shit. This then became the Americas because the world was Africa and Europe and Asia. Therefore, everyone in the Americas, including the South Americans, call themselves American because of the Americas, in contrast to the old world, Africa, the Middle East, Europe, all that shit. So you're like, that ain't American. You go to Europe right now and you say, I'm an American. They're like, oh, you're one of those assholes. What people from the States know when they go abroad is, where are you from? I'm from the States. That's what everyone says. Because if you say you're from America, they either know you're an asshole or they're wondering, like, you could be Argentine. You could be Chilean. Because all the Chileans, Argentines, when they go abroad, they'll call themselves American because of this side of the world. Quick history lesson for that ass.
Well, you can also blow their minds up, and the ones that love Christopher Columbus and be like, well, he didn't land in the United States. He landed in the Caribbean. He was in the Bahamas, which was America. That was the new land. So just FYI.
Man, hanging out with the parrots and the people of Tortuga. And that one captain from that one Pirates of the Caribbean movie and shit. That's who he's hanging out with.
I mean, we ain't even we can get into Caribbean, African, Latino code. That can be a whole
That'd be a cool episode.
David?
That'd actually be a really cool episode.
No, I'm saying we should do that. Yeah. I mean, and that was one of the idea. That was, I think for me, the last thing I'll say about this was the power of the performance was not like, well, it was the music, but it was like the pan Latin American like unity that was displayed. And then when I say that, I'm talking about the Caribbean too. It's like Black, brown, Afro-Latino unity. And I'm like, I think that's probably why a lot of people were fucking scared.
Yeah. The Carnival, like if you want these racist people and you don't like Black or brown people, don't ever go to any Carnival anywhere. It is Black and brown honor time. They about to shine. Well, we have a really special episode today that we want to kind of settle into. Our queen, our maven, this is the most Jubilee ass show ever. So with that being said, we're gonna give her the bigger screen, and we're gonna get our directions. Boys, are we okay with this? Okay.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Go ahead, Ju.
Our queen, baby.
So today's episode is called Time Capsule 2036. Oh my God. what we what we carry forward. And usually it starts by me going down a rabbit hole. So essentially, I just wanted us to look back briefly at 2016 to reflect on the last 10 years. The internet has a trend going on. That was the 2016 to 2026 trend, almost like a reflection kind of trend. So I thought it would be cool if we walked backwards and reflected a little bit on the last 10 years and how they have shaped us as individuals, as leaders, as community members, advocates. And then for us to turn forward and spend the rest of our time imagining what we want to bring with us into 2036. And I mean, a lot has happened between 2016 and 2026. So that's where I want to start, right? Through the lenses of leadership, education, activism, and community, we'll build a symbolic time capsule, not just for ourselves, but for the next generation, growing up inside a world that's shaped by artificial intelligence, automation, and deep cultural change. Like, we've seen stuff that we never seen before. So this episode really is about, legacy, responsibility. And there were two things that really anchored my thought process in this. One was this cool video that I ran into about this school called the Alpha School. And what I thought was interesting is how they do learning. They do learning in 2 hours, and they plan out the rest of the day according to skill set and interest and passion of the students. And so then I went down a rabbit hole and tried to see, like, what's this all about? And essentially this organization has reimagined what school looks like, could look like, and will look like in the next 10 years. And the question that they are always, pontificating around is, do we need a whole day of school? Do we need all these teachers? What happens when we remove the teacher as sage on the stage to a guide on the side, right? What other ways can we ensure that our youngsters are educated and educated well, that are not connected to the traditional way that we've done things? And we have enough data to say, which I won't go into, but we have enough data to say that maybe the way that we've been doing education for the past 10 years or more hasn't necessarily been working. Maybe it's been working for some and not others. Well, the Alpha School has come on the scene. They have schools around the country. The lowest is like $10,000 a year. The highest I saw was about $65,000 a year, somewhere around there. And this is what they're doing, right? They use artificial intelligence. They have an educator that's a guide, and they're looking to really continue to expand. During this interview, and I'm just doing a little synopsis, the Alpha School was asked, like, well, what are their like long-term goals? What are they hoping to accomplish? And it sounds like similar to what we want to accomplish right now with the traditional education, right? Making sure that we have young people that are able to critically think, read, write. But to me, it sounded like there was more independence, right? There was more time to work on strengthening the student's skill set, strengthening what they're passionate about, and giving them space and time to do those things, going camping, going hiking, building things, et cetera, et cetera. And so I'll stop there with that. So that was one. I do think that the Alpha School shows a model that could exist across our world in the next 10 years. That was one. And then I watched a video that was just a science buff kind of video that talked about artificial intelligence, but moving away from just this sort of chat GPT, kind of using it to do papers and proofread, and thinking about artificial intelligence and what happens when it's connected with biology, what happens when it's connected with agriculture. What is that going to look like in the next 10 years, right? When we have a skyscraper, is it just going to be a skyscraper, or is every floor leading up to the top floor of the skyscraper also going to be a farm, right? Also going to have a bunch of crops around, because we figured out how to build up and to also build agriculture as we go, because we have less and less space. So we need to figure out how we're going to, grow crops, So anyhow, those were the two pieces. The Alpha School, wow, what could schooling look like in the next 10 years? And also just life in general, across sectors in medicine, in education, in agriculture, etc. And so,
well, your first question was, what stands out most from 10 years ago in your
yes,
had us prep for? So
yes, so that's question one. When you look back at 2016, from where you stand now in 2026, what stands out most to you about how the last 10 years have shaped you? And this could be from any personal, professional, right? Any moments that surprised you, challenged you, affirmed you, caused you to pivot. I'd love for you to share that. So I will throw it to you, Omar, first. You can offer your thoughts and reflections in the past 10 years.
Yeah, no, I think I've got a bit of a different direction altogether. Although I'll connect it to Alpha School, everyone is thinking probably the same thing, which is like in the last 10 years, we had this incredible reset called COVID. And I don't know if it was necessarily a reset as it was a immutable transition in the psyche of everybody on earth. And it changed everything. How we want to do school, how we want to live, how we want to spend our time, what's important. And I think part of the problem with school is COVID happened. Every parent realized, holy crap, this is a bit of a shit show. It is super disorganized. And we're promised jetpacks upon return. We're going to change everything up, business as usual. And you've got the all-time lowest attendance rates in United States history. And you've got that going on in Texas, and the numbers don't lie. So in the last 10 years, I think we've had this extraordinary realization that things need to change. But on top of just the education component, I would arguably say we've had a humongous shift, I think, in consciousness. Basic things like what's important to us. Oh, I like spending time with people. I like spending time with family. Maybe I should go see my mom or talk to my mom or my dad or my daughter or my son or my grandchildren more often. I feel so disconnected because of what happened during COVID. May have been a lot of people's thoughts. The idea of like, do we have to go to work every day? I was accomplishing this work pretty well here at home. This whole hybrid schedule, a radically new thing, which then offers, okay, do we need all this space? What do we do with it? I didn't, Jubilee, you said something brilliant. I'm like, a whole floor of hydroponic food. Why not? It's not housing the office people anymore because those people can do anything they want. I think the more we go remote, you're going to see this balance happen, which would be kind of cool to see. Well, now that I can work remote, repopulating areas of the country that we'd love to live in that may not have the infrastructure for huge business. Arkansas, Nebraska, Missouri, outside of, St. Louis and Kansas City, a bunch of other places in Missouri that one could live in that may not require the infrastructure of a huge city. So I think that's going to start shifting, but then you're going to start seeing the pendulum shift into, okay, we don't necessarily want to go to the office every day, but we need to be social. We need to interact. And the screen alone is not going to do it. So how do we start building communities around, hopefully, what will become the next push, which is self-sustainability, creating the energy, the food, and all the things that we need to thrive and survive without the dependency. Because I got to tell you, just selfishly, once again, I was in Europe, came back, and I was like, God dang, man, what are they putting the food over here? The food in America is chemically laced garbage. And I come to find out, yeah, there are ways of growing food that don't have any of the synthetic compounds that we're putting here. Granted, we're trying to feed 300 million people, but that's going to shift. So this is a long way of saying all these tiny things are shifting, but I think the consciousness of mankind is shifting. I think the spiritual component is shifting. I think in the next, as we look back, in like 2036 are going to be like, this was that really difficult and hard shift of people's mentalities, hopefully towards one eventually of understanding some critical principles about the universe. Unconditional love, kindness, and forgiveness. Because I'll tell you what, people arguing about a Super Bowl performance has got to be the dumbest fucking thing that I think I've ever seen anyone argue about. Like, you might as well be arguing about a duck race. Just lining up 10 ducks, which is a cool thing, by the way. Hopefully it's not inhumane to the ducks. And they run, and it's race. And as inconsequential as that duck race is, I think it's as inconsequential to worry about who's performing at a halftime show. And you're sitting here bitching and arguing about someone who is performing when you could be diverting that energy towards helping out your fellow person. But no, it's much easier to lambaste a Puerto Rican singer than it is actually being kind to your neighbor. But this reckoning, I think we're at this precipice where it is going to simmer over, hit that apex, and get us into a brand new place, hopefully, of kindness and forgiveness, because that's what I'd like to see. And some of these assholes to shut the fuck up. Because, like, they've been so emboldened lately to say the dumbest, unfucking scripted, uneducated, unsubstantiated, unfactual shit. And it used to be that you would listen to learn. Now your uneducated ass is talking and drowning out the room with your fucking stupidity. And I'd like for you to shut the fuck up. So what would I like to see in 2036? Those assholes shutting the fuck up.
Well,
maybe learning, maybe reading a fucking book.
Thank you for that, and hold that, because we'll be back to question number 3. But I'm throwing it to you, David.
Does question number 3 have something to do with them shutting the fuck up? Because I'd like for them to shut the fuck up.
David and Charles.
Yeah, I mean, not much more to add. I think going back to 2016, I mean, these last 10 years have been rough. I think. So when I think of 2016, I think of a pre-COVID world. I think of a pre-Trump world and a pre-AI world, right? Where we're on this particular trajectory. And then the last 10 years has just been, pretty turbulent politically, pretty turbulent, like culturally in this country, while at the same time, technology has advanced like 1,000-fold, right? With the, with AI, and the ability of AI to, advance particular like political and social narratives on via social media. So you have this like active brainwashing that's happening. So in my mind, I think looking back at 2016 compared to where we are now, 2026, my one big theme is like, it's just like human connection, right? Human connection and like reestablishing a baseline for political discourse, right? And also reestablishing a baseline around how we engage with technology, in society. Because I feel like, it's a very slippery slope that not that we are on the precipice of going down, but I think we're down that already. And so really thinking as a society, how can we pull back on the divisive, Omar said it, the dialogue, racist dialogue. It's just gotten really crazy, and it's happening all the way up to the level of the White House, right? Donald Trump. I mean, if any of us were to say like 5% of what he says, like we would lose our jobs and contracts, and we should, right?
Yeah, and the irony.
I think that whole thing needs to be
the
like,
irony of it all.
that whole thing needs to be unwound. And I think we need to really reestablish how we want to engage with technology. Obviously starting in our homes, in our schools. That's kind of where my thinking is right now.
Thank you. Charles?
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I don't even remember 2016. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know anything that's particular to 2016. Like it's kind of a blur. I think in my mind, there's before COVID, there's after. I think in this experiment, I assume that we know the information that we know now. So knowing that, there's a few things that I would do. One, I would buy so much stock in Moderna. I would put so much
Smart
stock,
man.
so much, like so much. Maybe Johnson and Johnson, but the black one don't make that much money. The Moderna, I would be a very rich man. I think the other thing is the telecommunication stuff. I would have been even more, I think, on top of that to have how this stuff looks now, to do that right when, as soon as lockdown happened, if I had the capability to do this and with everything that I know now, I would have took it over. I'd have a TV show right now. I'm telling you. But yeah, I think like you said, it's just kind of COVID. I don't remember particularly what came out in 2016. Like all the things that I like. It's so funny. I was in here cleaning like shoes and stuff. Like all of my favorite shoes. This is a Travis Scott limited edition Air Force One. I mean, Jordan 1, right? Like if you buy these on resale, they're like $1,200, $1,300. This shoe came out, the original silhouette came out in 1984 or 1985, whatever that year was when Jordan came out, right? Like these are like my favorite shoes. This shit from the 80s. So I don't know what I need from 2016. But I would have made some investments. I would have been, I wouldn't be as bad as Buff, and Back to the Future, who was, and funny enough, in Back to the Future 2, the villain is built off of Donald Trump, like, which is hilarious. But I would have made them bets. I would have made the same bets he did to get rich. So that's what I know.
Well, thank you.
Biff. I'm sorry, I said Buff. Biff. I can't lose my Marty McFly license by not knowing these people's names right. I'm sorry.
But
It's all good, my man.
well, so I'm throwing it out there. So you didn't have to stay on only 2016 through the decade, right? So
COVID.
2016 to 2026. For me, it was January 6th. Like it was COVID, like because like what the heck? Thank you. But then it was like, y'all are climbing the Capitol? If you would have asked me, if something like that was possible, like I would have bet money that like, no, that would never, and I'm not a never person, right? I never say never. But if somebody would have asked me that, like, could you imagine that there's going to be all these angry Trump supporters, MAGA folks climbing up the side of a Capitol building, and people are going to be injured and some are going to lose their lives and they're going to, do a stampede inside, and people are going to, people are going to have to lock themselves in the chambers. And I would say that you guys are absolutely delusional. That cannot happen. And so that's one of the things that stands out to me, from the decade. And yeah, definitely, Trump winning as well, because I went to sleep. I was like, these people are not going to vote this man into office. It's not going to happen. And I went to sleep and I was like, yeah, it looks a little red now, but it'll be fine. And I woke up and it was my worst nightmare. So those are the kind of things that stick out to me from 2016, that like never say never, and nothing is impossible. We can regress, and a lot of these practices that our country was built on.
Lost her. Here she is.
Sorry, my computer's
she's
dying.
back. I was going to finish your sentence.
Yeah, no, I'm saying the country was built on imperialism, colonization, all the things.
Can you flip it over your phone? Just flip it on the side.
I'm coming back on my computer momentarily. Is that bad?
Yeah.
Your stuff is, your orientation is locked. It's okay. Just don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm coming back on the computer once this comes on. But yeah, the point is that we can regress, right? Like anything's possible depending on who's in these seats that have power, authority, who's in leadership, what they believe. So never say never. Like that
it was shocking, more shocking than COVID was. And yeah. So okay. Could somebody read the next question because I can't see anything.
Yeah, man, I got you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
My pleasure. All right, we at number 2, time capsule 2036. If you could place 3 things in a time capsule to be opened in 2036 for yourself and for the next generation, what would you choose and why? Doc, did you already answer that question with your fancy ass Jordans?
Yeah, let me stop covering your face up. I'll put myself in that bottom quadrant. I was struggling with it, man. I don't know because I don't see a lot of distinction. It's not like I feel like the 80s, the 70s, 80s, and 90s had more distinctive like decades. I think that now this 2016 to 26, it melds in. Like maybe some things will be different in 2036, but I think they'll be more subtle. I'm not sure. So what would I put in there? I was like, well, what's my favorite song? But that's on streaming. So it's not like a record from the 60s. I think technology has kind of messed up the time capsule concept because it's right there. And like I said, even my favorite shoes that I might have gotten one of those years, not these, they from a different era. So I don't know. I really don't. Maybe like a handwritten letter of just what may have happened to me in that month or what was going on so I could kind of remember that feeling. But that's kind of it. I'm interested to hear y'all's answers. I'm done. I'm not going to take up too much time on these questions.
I'll follow up on that because I think I agree with Charles. And so what I would put in a time capsule for 2036, I wouldn't put a laptop. I wouldn't put any technology in it. I would put books. I would put like essays, literature of all kinds, right? So just like hard books. I would put in like vinyl records, right, with the record player, right? So like let's put some music in there, but let's put the analog version of things in there. So let's put books in, let's put vinyl records in, let's put in schools that use less technology. Let's put in schools and school systems that return to supporting like real student to student engagement and dialogue. For sure. So let's take away the one-to-one Chromebook thing. We don't need that anymore. Let's get rid of that, right? I would also put in, I don't know how to frame this, but I would say, let's put in the idea or the concept that we can have critical debate and disagree on things and walk away from a debate and not like hate each other, right? And that goes for people, on both ends of the political spectrum, talking about people that are like, ultra progressive in the left, where it's kind of like, you have to live by this particular code. And also people on the far right, where you have to live by a certain code, right? This like groupthink is clearly like, it's tearing apart our country right now. So I would put in something to say like, in 2036, like, let's not do those things anymore. Let's learn to just like have debate, have healthy debate, learn from one another, and then walk away from it and say, thanks, neighbor, see you tomorrow, right?
Thank you. Omar?
Yeah. You gave me a bunch of ideas. I was going to say, I'll get into the books in a second. I think the most formative thing that we could put in this capsule is you've seen these movies where, like the protagonist like loses time and all of a sudden they're like either watching television and catching back up on time, like Wolverine, like, gets jumped back into time in the Marvel movies and it's like, oh shit, what happened? And then gets jumped forward and then it's like, what happened in this new reality? And I got to catch up on things. Total Recall, like a video kind of montage of here are these things that you need to know. My video montage of things that you would need to know about these 10 years or not 20 years, right? 2016 to 2036 would be, here is what could have been America's arguably third civil war, right? Like the American Revolution could arguably considered to be a civil war. It was us against us. Everyone's like, well, it was the Americans versus the British. I'm like, we were British. At least they were British over on the east side. And this is now an impending divide that we've always had one, but I've not seen such an emboldened group of people so angry. And you've got to look at the root causes of that anger because, yeah, man, like you're angry at Bad Bunny, but you're not really angry at Bad Bunny. What you're angry about is that you were sold a bill of goods. You were told that you do these things and the American dream would happen and you would be okay. And, you know, next thing you know, your farm shuts down because the guy you voted for deported everyone that you worked for, that worked with you. Your infrastructure shut down because you thought you were voting for something. And I think what you're seeing in this montage is this precipitous hate build into what I hope to be enlightenment. Oh, shit. Here's what was really going on. Here's what was really happening behind the scenes. Here's what we're actually really angry about. And that precipitation, hopefully, that enlightenment, hopefully, is encouraged by things like as basic as therapy, self-enlightenment, higher levels of consciousness, kindness shown to neighbors. And my hope is that we have absolved these issues instead of allowing them to destroy us. So that video montage would be one of extreme imbalance into, God willing, this balance, right? And some of those books, I would think a book like The Alchemist, a book like Ishmael, which is a great read, a book that I love giving to folks called Spiritual Activator, because we're in this like very interesting spiritual awakening and consciousness awakening that people should like grab onto in terms of elevating their kindness, their vibration, their ability to do greater good in this world. That's what I hope. Because ultimately, my hope is not that this video montage is me on top of some building being like, they're coming to get me. God dang, these crazy ass people are coming to shoot me because I'm Mexican and Arabic. I've been living on top of this roof for the past 60 days. Somebody come help me. My hope is that it's not that. It could be. I doubt it. I don't actually feel that. But what this capsule has to demonstrate is this very critical period in this history of the United States, because the consequences of our actions have had ripples across the rest of the world, from wars to currency to our foreign involvement. It's really had some significant ripples. And I'd like to say that that the United States can come back into its place of being a good leader for the world and not a corrupt one, not a shitty one, and certainly not a violent one.
Which one you want up, Jude?
You got a guess coming in? Shit.
I just needed to pick one because it was about to be an echo. I'll let you handle that.
It's Jubilee from the year 2036.
You know. All right. All right. There we go.
Yes. Were you going to say something, Charles?
Well, I was just telling David and Omar that David sparked and inspired something for the actual time capsule. So I was going to say, when you and Omar both said like books or things like that, I will put in notebooks of things that I've actually written because I want to remember that. The other thing is, so funny. I would put these books in, even though they're not of this time, but like Watchmen is still one of the best books I've ever read. It's a graphic novel. It is written by Alan Moore. He wrote V for Vendetta as well. And it's just, he talked about all the stuff happening today here in an alternate reality where where Nixon was president and it ran, and it kind of went through the same lines, but it's just a great book. And before I read this, I was a doubter of graphic novels and comics like that could like teach you. This is great. And then the child in me, because 2016 Marvel was really, really big, and I've always wanted, you know, I want to see a movie with Spider-Man against Superman. I wanted to see the crossover, but this book right here, it actually happened. The creators of Marvel and DC came together when they were both really young in the middle of their wars, and they wrote this huge set of and they let the fans pick who would win between Spider-Man and Superman, Hulk. And I searched for this book for years, like years. You could find them like in Japan.
I didn't know that book existed.
$2,000. You can. I actually found it, and it was affordable. But this omnibus is what it's called, and it would allow me to explain to young people what omnibuses is. Young people, that's a collection of a bunch of books put together, so you can have it in one space. And also one of these guys was still alive when it's at that time. So this is what I would have put in. There you go. It was a process. It took me a year to take this out the plastic. That's how much that book means to me. There you go. That was all David and O. Good question, Jude.
Inspiration.
I had to do something in the damn time capsule, you know.
I mean, yeah. Now I said it could be tangible or intangible. I just don't know how you would capture agency, but I would imagine that you would figure out some kind of way to put agency in your time capsule.
That's in the notebook. So I think that's in the notebook, but also I think some people like to get information like this, right? Like, hey, this is wrong. This is why we're doing it. This is racist or whatever. But I like when it's like wrapped up in a story and people can kind of, like, I watched The Life of Chuck. That's the other thing. Stephen King writes a ton of fucking books, man. He has so many books. But like, I watched The Life of Chuck. It's so different from his other books. But it's like, I like things that don't give it to you or tell it. It puts you through an experience and you leave different. I think that there would be some things in 2016 I would try to find that if you pull it back out, it has that type of feeling. I'm just not as thoughtful as David and Omar and you are right now, so I have to think more about it. I'm just saying I would have to think about it, you know, because that's what but the thing is that things don't disappear like they did in the 80s or the 70s, right? Like if it's the early 90s, I would put some Crystal Pepsi in there because it's gone. You can't find it.
Man, that's what I'm talking about, man. I'm talking about Zima.
Right, Zima.
I'm talking about MD 2020. Talking about Four Locos.
Is the best drink I've ever tasted. I don't know. I think Fruitopia might have had crack in it. Okay, all the kids at my school had Fruitopia, and then one day it was gone. Okay, was it like Four Loko for kids? I don't know, but it was. I would put shit like that in there. So
gotcha. Well, I mean, listen. I think we need all of it because I'm thinking about it in terms of like, what might we lose? Like, what might we lose in the next 10 years that we wish we wouldn't, you know? And how would that influence what we put in a time capsule? And it's interesting that you said, like, Charles, you like to put things together, look in a book, like do the research, put the pieces together and then draw a conclusion and figure out what's what versus somebody just handing you the information. And I feel like that's what we would lose, you know? So I feel like I would want to put seeds in the time capsule. Like, you gonna grow this. This is an apple. This will be an apple in a few years because by in response to how fast our world is evolving and changing, along with all of the automation and artificial intelligence, we begin to lose intangible things like patience, right? And agency, right? Being okay with the fact that something has to go through a process, right? To get from inception to fruition. And it doesn't just happen like that. Those are the things I'm concerned about us losing, right? Or that will dwindle away in the next 10 years. Because I mean, how many people are like, nah, I'm not cooking today, right? And it's just like fast food is right there. We all do it, right? But years ago, right? It's like microwave. What's that? You got to go home and cook, or you got to heat your food up on the stove. So it's like every generation, I think, loses. We gain, I guess, you know, innovation, ingenuity, and we gain access to things faster. But I think with that, we also give away a bit of patience. We also give away a bit of just independence and agency, you know? So if I could encapsulate some intangible things, one of them would be patience. And I probably would put something in there symbolic, like a seed, like, no, you got to plant this in soil, you got to water, you got to tend to it, and you got to care for it so that it will grow. And there's no way to microwave it fast forward, even though that won't be true, because they'll probably be able to put something in the machine and grow it.
I want to add something if I can.
Go for it.
I would, yeah. So you're talking about like process and you know, like the U.S. is, you know, quote unquote on paper, like one of the most like technologically advanced countries, but you know, we consume, along with the UK, the highest percentage of processed foods from almost any country in the world, right? So going back to Omar's earlier point, like I want to put some like natural foods in this time capsule. I want to put some fruits and vegetables. I want to put some like natural animal products in there that are not processed. If you look at like, so we're at about like 58%. We get about 58% of our calories, you know, in the U.S. from ultra processed foods, not just processed, ultra processed. You look at countries like Japan, they're at like 28. Italy is probably one of the lowest at like 18. So talk about European countries, you know, other than the UK, right? So you see the connection there. Brazil is like in the you know, lower 20%. So countries around the world have figured out and how to like keep their people healthy, right? And I think for us here, that's just a side effect of, you know, our hyper like capitalistic, you know, system, right? Where processed food is like cheap to make, right? And so in that time capsule, I want to put some like good, whole, organic foods, non-processed foods.
Love that. Well, thank you.
I don't know, indicative of where we're at right now. Fuck that, man. I put the exact opposite. Because the 2036, hopefully that shit's all gone. Putting Wonder Bread in there, putting fucking Zima in there, putting
Bread.
loops in there with that shit like that
Twinkies
color
that
that like
never
can't even be deciphered, that's been outlawed in Europe. Putting some fucking Cocoa Pebbles in there. Look how much sugar's in this shit, bitch.
Yes.
It's just a box of sugar. That's
And it's never disintegrating, non-biodegradable, yet we put it up.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Here's this fucked up plastic that's been killing sea turtles for fucking decades and shit, man. Here's this bullshit water bottle that 13-year-olds have like a collection of. Why they're collecting fucking water bottles? Fuck a Stanley Cup, man. Like that's the stupid shit that I would throw in there to be like, look how fucking dumb we were in this like 20-year period. But my hope, David, would be some of us, a lot of us are trying to hit that switch. Look how much we're trying to progress. Look how much we're trying to get rid of this stupidity. So I think like the intangible is the beauty and hope of humanity trying to correct its previous mistakes and trying to come up with a better way to not only live, but live with one another and live with this world. Like, I'm tired of killing the fucking kangaroos and sea turtles and shit. Fuck that shit, man. I'm trying to hug a kangaroo.
Hell yeah.
All right, well.
They like to fight, though. They like to fight.
The kangaroos?
Yeah. Yeah, they enjoy a square off every now and again.
No, for 30 years, they had the best PR. And then people got real videos like, oh, these things, they got claws this big and they mean and buff. They diesel and mean.
They are diesel.
You gotta punch them. Somebody that tried to, I think you see the video where he tried to either scare a baby or take the baby, and the dad had to just punch him, and they just fought. Like,
that is hilarious.
I can't live in Australia ever. They have spiders that look like this. There's this big. It's just chilling. I can't do it. I feel like Omar has kicked it in Australia out of any of us. Have any of y'all been to Australia? I'm terrified of Australia.
I'm never going there, dude. I'm never going there.
What, dude?
It's a wild place.
It's
full of criminals.
Like jack you up.
You said full of cripples? What?
Criminals.
Yeah. It is. I think it is
You're
Jurassic
gonna
Park
get
for
off
real.
the plane, and some like koala's gonna hug you, and some kangaroo's gonna kick you in the crotch. Like it ain't like that, man.
That's what I'm saying, man.
You gotta go to the wild, the preserves and shit to see all those
It is
animals.
the real Jurassic Park. Like I'm telling, like I'm terrified of that place.
I would go. Just give me like a animal proof hazmat suit or something. I don't know.
Well, I'll put it like this. I would only be in the city. I know we're talking about the bush. Omar would do the bush. Like this is Omar shit. Omar,
I would, yeah.
Just put me in a protective vehicle.
Okay, go ahead.
South Africa, we were rolling
I
around.
don't know what's going to protect you from talons that's this big. The talons are this big. I don't know what's going to protect you.
I don't know. It's concerning. It is, but I still would probably give it a shot.
I got you. I'm about to just send y'all shit on kangaroos and
I want to see it because I didn't know that
in our group text.
Yeah, and don't get me started on the wild. Don't get me started on the wild dingoes.
Absolutely, or the things that
They're
come
everywhere.
up through your toilet.
They're everywhere.
Or the things that come up through your toilet. Like they just come up. You have to have a toilet guard in some of those places.
I don't want it.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's we're at the hour, Jube. Go ahead. You got this.
Yeah. I mean, we can do a quick whip around for final thoughts around when you picture life in 2036. What do you imagine or what do you hope schools, communities, leadership life might look like? Or any closing thought that you want. And I'll throw it back to you, David. Final thoughts.
Yeah, I think I've already said it, but to just wrap it up, I would say across the board, more humanity, less technology, and more connection and more understanding. So I'll leave it there.
That's good. I'll jump into the school one. I loved what you were talking about. Like, do we really need more than 2 hours? And the answer is no. The reason that I think school goes on so long is because people have jobs. So it becomes a place where like, well, you're going to school, I have a job. I honestly want to see if I could wave a magic wand. What I'm really trying to do here in El Paso with our schools eventually is like, can we have a place where kids are learning in the real world? Can we have internships? Can they help maybe get paid for these internships? And they're doing the actual work and then taking what they love about that job and then using school as a catalyst to actually dive in and find out about the math, the science, the history, and all those things that apply. I don't want to get back into this like, well, every kid needs this and every kid needs this. I think that kids need to read. I think that they need to read real books. I think that they need to do math and have a numerology education. I think that there's a certain component of history that I'd like kids to know so they don't keep fucking repeating these same mistakes or these like assholes with Second Amendment stickers. And I go and ask them, hey man, what's the Seventh Amendment? Yeah, you're a constitutional scholar. You're one of the people I want you to shut the fuck up. Maybe these kids can understand something about what we all know about the creation of this country, but really dive into things that they care about so that they're spending the majority of the day doing something that they're inspired to do, where they're learning and loving it and not just like sitting blankly listening to fucking, Snoopy and Charlie Brown's teacher drone on and shit. That all to those teachers, if you're talking more than 15 minutes, you need to shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Indeed. Indeed.
Well, y'all got Omar juice today, and we still don't have your rants, Omar. We want those
every time. That was a good one, man. I just did like 8 of them, man. Put that shit in AI and send them out. Baby.
That's the rant. Wonder Bread.
Yeah.
So many rants today.
I mean, you're gonna do Lewis Black very proud, Omar. That's high praise.
I love Lewis Black, man. He's a beautiful man.
For everybody that's watching, please like, share, and leave a comment as I go into my my piece. I think it's an interesting thought experiment. I don't think it'll happen, but I would in 10 years from now, I would like there to be somewhat of a universal education like exchange model. Like I wish we actually utilized social media and technology to do great things. And what I mean by that is like maybe Dave is watching the Super Bowl with his son and stuff about Puerto Rico comes up and his son is curious. Like there should be a high level class for free that he can just get on his phone or go online with and like be immersed at it at his own pace into like the history of this and learn it. Like I think we have all the tools to make us better critical thinkers. We choose to use these and turn them into idiot boxes. Like if we actually chose to be brilliant with these, we could do brilliant things with it. And so that's why it's such a tough question, because we're kind of past that place of ability and it's more about will. So I don't know how you put will in the box.
We can put anything you want in the box. Put that willpower into that box.
I don't, you know, but I'm just saying, but like the curiosity and the patience to go out and like learn and do those things. I think that in that time, like traditional schooling, I think it's about time for that to die. Like if the four of us are in a class and we start at the same time, but we have different rates with technology, David, if he's 2 classes ahead of us, he shouldn't have to wait. If Omar needs more time, he shouldn't be pressed to go faster. If we actually utilize this technology that's available now to kind of work with him at his pace and his peak. And then I just think finally, man, listen, this generation, not just the kids of everybody, but especially these kids, they don't know how to interact with human beings, man. Like we're gonna have to let the robots come in because that's all we can fucking talk to. Like it's all that you can talk to. Like we are at a time in history where if you get rejected by a girl, you can go to ChatGPT and be like, this happened. And you know what it'll do? It will coddle you and make you feel better. That is the time. Remember 10 years ago, and maybe this was 2016, when Her came out. Remember when Her came out and it was talking about this to the point where he put so much on his AI on that character that she had to break up with him. She cheated. The AI cheated on him, man. Like, you understand? Like, these are the times we live in now. So I don't know what's going to be different in 10 years, but those are some of my hopes, is that we actually rediscover some of our humanity that we just are graciously handing away.
Yeah, love that. Same. I mean, I connect with what each of you said. I'm gonna put my final thought. I'm gonna connect it to schools, and me watching the alpha schools. Like, I just was like, oh my God, yes, this is what I'm talking about. And to your point, Omar, where you talked about, do we need the whole day? It's like, we can have the whole day if we need the whole day, even though we know work may change, right? As we progress, because we worked fully virtually and we know it can be done. But we know folks, you know, you need somewhere for your kids to go. We just get to shift how we use the time. And I think that's what was so impressive about it, is that we're going to spend 2 hours learning. And then we'll use the rest of the time doing things that are, you know what I mean, that kids want to do. And
I love it.
That's my hope. My hope is that the education landscape will shift to a place that our children, our young adults, that they're not trying to escape. You know, like right now we talk about lack of engagement, and we talk about the fact that kids are always on their phone. They're never paying attention. But it's interesting when they're doing something that they enjoy.
Yeah. Exactly.
That they're interested in, that's not a problem. I only hear certain teachers complain about phones. And usually it's the ones that have hands-on engagement activities. Usually it's the one that their instruction is super clear, right? They're super well planned. Their questions are thought-provoking. I don't hear them talking about cell phones and how bored the kids are and how they're falling asleep in class, you know? And so I think that would be my hope as we grow towards 2036. Yes, we need to keep connection. Yes, we need to keep knowing how to build relationships with one another and still be human-centered in a world that might be shifting away from that. And also, let's get education to a place where it's not a place where kids are trying to escape from. It's something that they want to engage with because it's formatted and aligned with their interests, and not just something that they have to do out of compliance for when they grow up. You know, it's something that they can utilize now. So with that being said, thank you so much for tuning into the South Star Classroom. I'm Jubilee. That's David. That's Omar. And we will see you next time every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Is that Central? I always mess that up.
Pacific, 5 Central.
Right. That's that one. That one. And be on the lookout for Omar's rant that he's going to do one of these days. Happy love, y'all.
Y'all have a good one.